You have to laugh or you'd cry. Yesterday morning, the Residential Freehold Association, the guys lobbying to keep this feudal abusive leasehold system going, were up to their old tricks again. Asking leading questions of apparently random groups of people and thinking that that's evidence of anything. And the question they posed, if you lived in an apartment block of any size, would you be comfortable or uncomfortable assuming the legal responsibilities and financial liabilities for managing the building? Seriously? If I stopped the people outside this building and asked would they be willing to take on the legal and financial responsibility of managing this block, would any in their right mind say, hell yeah, bring it on? They wouldn't. At the same time, the RFA was spouting more bilge that we at Commonhold now would have to refute. Our shower was spouting nothing. At this rate, I'm not going to have a shower today. So the first thing I do is I get on this WhatsApp group with all the residents and ask, is anyone else affected? Moments later, on the ball Stevie on the 17th gets back. We need a bit of context here. Our building has been sprouting more leaks than a tea bag since 2018. With these pressure reducing valves that normally only last between 7 and 11 years, we're now into year 20. And when they don't get replaced, they haven't been replaced on the residential floors yet, for the commercial they all have, we have devastating impacts. There's a pond already and the engineers are coming around, I think, 3 or 4 hours. And this is going through to the hotel levels. Look at this. So I'm just going to leave it on this, you can hear the noise. Last year was particularly bad. We had about half a dozen floods, and this was recorded in June 2022. I think we're paying about £2 million of service charge for this. 5 hours later, and the poor emergency plumber is battling with boiling hot water. And if the freeholder had been a noble custodian, a professional, and done planned preventative maintenance, none of this would have been happening. The next morning, it was our residents' association who cleaned up. There were so many of these emergencies last year that we ended up buying our own water vacuum for members to use. The RFA love to whinge that leaseholders would be managing their own buildings under Commonhold share of freeholder right to manage arrangements. But the fact is, for many of us, it already feels like we're doing that. But we're paying £2 million a block for the privilege as the building deteriorates around us, our homes. Now look at these carpets. They're filthy after 5 years of poundage and leaks. And we now have a moth infestation that we're still trying to deal with. But back to yesterday's leak. The engineer had finished up, he went home, the water was turned back on, the leaks reappeared, and the messages were flooding in. So it's the end of the day, Friday the 18th of August, 6:29 in the evening, and the poor engineers as of half an hour ago were still battling with these leaks. They're even now going inside a flat to try and sort it out. So leaseholders everywhere, 10 million of us, I've got an RFA style question for you. Option 1, would you rather live in a building where your offshore freeholder failed to fix the plumbing, no matter how much you paid in service charges, and you never knew whether you'd wake up to find water pouring through your ceiling? Or option 2, would you rather you and your neighbours had control of your building management, your capex plan and your service charges, so you could have replaced every one of those failing valves years ago and avoided these leaks from ever happening? Let me know how you'd vote by leaving your comments below. But one last thing, the demand for leaseholders to be in control of their buildings and bills and service providers is so immense that even the RFA, yes, the RFA, has found that 67% of leaseholders they surveyed wanted to buy the freehold. And even when they threaten leaseholders saying that that means becoming an accountable person, and if the building goes wrong with fire or structural safety risks, you could even be criminalised, put in prison. And you know what? Even under that type of questioning, 51% of us said, yes, make us the accountable person. And on that note, I'm off to try and get a shower.